Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Few Spirits. This is their Cherrywood Smoked Malt Whiskey, coming in at a 46.5% ABV, at least 4 years old. Now, Few Spirits is based out of the Chicago area, where they're doing some really cool things in craft spirits. More recently this year, I reviewed their Smashing Pumpkins collab, which used Madame Zuzu's tea in the distillation process, which is crazy, and it was super darn good. When they announced this, I was ecstatic. As you can see, I love smoky. I love smoked things, and when I heard this was coming out, I was like, okay, I can see what you're going for here. So essentially, this is kind of a homage to the Great Chicago Fire that happened, and most of the city itself was burnt to a crisp, and this is kind of the idea of them rebuilding, coming back from the ashes. So essentially what they've told us is they've taken a malted barley and cherrywood smoked it and then added rye to it. Now, they don't tell us the exact mash bill on here, but if I had to guess, you're probably going to be looking either a close split between the two grains or maybe like a 20-30% of the rye and the rest being that smoked malted barley. Nonetheless, being that it's 4 years old with this kind of a process, really excited to see how they pull it across. Again, being that I am a fan of what they're doing. So let's hop into it and find out how it goes. And again, being that this is a craft distillery, aging, distilling, bottling, fermenting, all that kind of stuff, they're doing everything on their own, which is awesome to see in today's age. That color looks inviting, and I love their artwork on the front of the bottles. So, as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in some other reviews that I've done over Few Spirits, those links will be up above and down below for you to check out. They come and go in my market. I don't see a bunch of them here in Indiana. I'm trying to get more places to kind of bring them in and at least talk about them more because I've had a really good experience with them so far. Oh, that was sealed tight. I didn't expect to actually see this one hit store shelves here in Indiana. We're not really known to enjoy smoked things, unfortunately. But I just so happened to be at my Total Wine, and they had just a few bottles of it up on the shelf. So they must have just got a small shipment of them in just to kind of see what happens. Beautiful copper color. Kind of a dark copper. Yeah. Looks good in the glass. Let's go for notes. Ooh, yeah, okay. Definitely from the nose. Predominantly got a great mash bill of the malt. That malted barley is coming through. Very waxy, earthy. And you are getting that bit of smoked element, almost like campfire kind of smokiness to things. And you do get a bit of the cherry going on, the cherry wood smoked. You're getting this kind of sweeter orchard note going in there. There's a dark sugar in there, almost brown sugar sweetness. I'm going to assume from the barrels themselves. You get that kind of nice vanilla cream, bit of charriness from the barrel. You don't get a big oak impact. Again, it's only 4 years old. But the longer you take a draw off of it, the more you pull that smoked element. Like just an initial wisp of it, you really don't get a lot of that in there. But if you take a bigger pull from it, you actually find that smoked element underneath it all. It is sweet. There's no ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. Really solid on the nose. I gotta give that credit. I like that a lot. You get a bit of spiciness from the rye, just a pinch of it. But it's more got that waxy kind of earthiness from the barley. It really kind of dominates the glass. But overall, right up home plate if you like a malted rye. Maybe a little bit of honey going on in there, like an earthy honey note. Overall, though, really solid. Especially coming from a craft distillery, I enjoy this. But let's see how the taste comes across. I'm hoping that smoked element really kind of pops through. Let's find out. A lot of granola. Like honey grams, granola. Kind of trail mixy Kind of that you put some oatmeal and some like oatmeal clusters in a trail mix bag. A little bit of the smokiness is coming through on the palate. Got a little drying effect on things. But it's simple. It's nice. A little spiciness from the rye. A little light bit of oakiness in there. It's not heavy in the oak element. Got a good, decent cling on it, especially for only 46.5. But you definitely got to like more of the granola earthiness that some of your malted whiskeys can bring across. But besides that, it's really solid. The smokiness kind of builds as I keep going back to it. Get a little more earthiness. It's like campfire, next day campfire going on. Like if you've ever worn a jacket or clothes and you woke up the next morning after camping, you get that little bit of residue left over. The malt here is really what is nice, but also kind of what makes it a little more simple and one-noted. You are just kind of getting a little bit of fruit sweetness in there, and mostly cereal grains. That barley is coming through. And I really wish that rye characteristic kind of showed up a bit more, especially because you told us there's rye in here, because I was hoping for a bit more spiciness. However, I like the idea. I like craft distilleries doing something unique, fun, and different. And yeah, I think you've hit it on there. I would have done a few more tweaks to it personally, because again, I do like smoky elements. But I see at least your vision of what you're going for on this sip. Yeah, every time I go back to it for more and more sips, I'm finding more of that smoky ashiness. It's more of an ashy smoke now. The best way I could probably equate that to not only would be the next day campfire smell, but the taste reminds me of like after I've got something in a smoker and I lift the hood and I get a big breath of, smoker coming out. It kind of reminds me of that. But overall, it's simple, slightly complex, just a bit more because of that bit of smoked element to things. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's simple, straightforward. Is this going to be for everybody? Probably not, but it's definitely one I'd say at least give a taste to before you make a true judgment call on it. Alrighty, well, speaking of, let's talk about a grade for this one. How about that? So I picked it up for $40 at my Total Wine, and I think for $40 it's a great buy. Their website has it for $55, and I'll be honest, at $55 it's a little higher than I would have wanted to pay for this one. I was tempted to, I'll be honest. I give it a C+. I think what the flavors are coming across are pretty solid, but the big thing for me is I wish there was a little bit more complexity here. I want to see that rye come through a little bit more. Because honestly, if I wouldn't have done a deep dive on finding out what grains were in here, I would have just assumed that this was all malted barley, which would not have been a bad thing. But now knowing that there's rye in here, I want that rye to kind of shine through a little bit more, personally. Still think it's a good sip, one to experience. I just personally wouldn't overpay for this one. It would be one that I would definitely grab at the right price point and enjoy it, because I think it's a really unique take coming from a craft distillery. Enjoy it. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Fuse Spirits Chicago Smokeworks Malt Whiskey. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and share with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
And I really like it might not.